Hi guys, it's Kelly here, and today I'm doing a card for Color Throwdown. I'm using the falling backdrops from Simon Says Stamp, the Anchor Stamp and Cut from Hero Arts, and this little teeny tiny stamp set from the Sending Sunshine kit from Create a Smile. I'm going to do some embossing before I do a watercolor background. Here I'm just trying to figure out what my placement's going to be. I just used the dots from the falling backdrop and inked it up in Versamark and then heat set them in white. The first time I stamped it a little higher up because I wanted it to be longer than what it is. So to fill in that area below it, I just flipped the stamp around and stamped the more concentrated dot area again. I stamped them at a downward angle towards the left-hand side, so it wasn't a complete background. And then I just started doing some watercoloring with some distress inks. I'm going to use Salty Ocean and Chip Sapphire. I keep just like a water bottle next to my desk, use that for where I clean off my brush and where I use my clean water. So I'm just going to smush my distress ink down right onto my Ranger Craft mat. I'm using a wide brush just to add some water to the background, just clean clear water before I start dropping in my color. This week's colors are light blue, navy, orange, and craft. That's the color combination we're going for. Last week when I had saw the colors for the ribbon, had this beautiful navy ribbon, and I really wanted to go nautical. But then Tammy sent me the key, I don't know what they call it, the color swatch thing, whatever, for this week. And once I saw that, I knew that this week's card was going to be nautical for sure. So I didn't want to do nautical and nautical. With watercoloring, it's supposed to be all about layering color, but I'm super impatient, so I'm not always the best at doing that. I wanted my background to be really rich, dark colors because I wanted that white embossing to show through. And as you can see here with the lighter blue, how washed out it is up top, it's really hard to see any of that embossing. So I'm going to just keep building up those colors and dropping them in. Salty Ocean's got to be one of the best distressing colors Tim Holtz ever thought up because I just absolutely adore that color. I want to put it on everything. So I'm just going to just keep scooping and laying down. You have to be careful when you're watercoloring because if you don't have enough moisture on your brush when you pick up your pigment and there's more water on your project than there is on your brush, you'll actually suck the color up versus putting the color down. So make sure you have a good amount of water. Here I want my background to bloom out a little bit more, but I want it to have that natural edge that, watercoloring has. It's so beautiful. So I just take clean clear water and like scoop it towards what's already wet, and then the pigment will bloom out naturally. I'm sucking up the extra water so I don't have that line on the right hand side and that little puddle there. I don't tape down my watercolor. I'm sure that I'm positive, in fact, that there are people who get better results with their watercolor because they tape it down. But I don't want to waste the watercolor paper. I don't want to have to cut a piece that is bigger than what I need and then just pitch it in the trash can. So I cut it to the side of my card front and then I hold it down. And in order to get it flat after all is said and done and it's dry, I run it through my Cuttlebug a couple of times with a few shims and it flattens right out, and that's what works for me. But it can affect the way your paint lays. So if you're going for a certain look, you're probably going to want to tape it down. I'm doing some splatters just because I feel like that gives a more natural edge. Just something kind of fun to add to it. See, look at how much distress ink I've gone through. I think I smushed those pads on there probably at least 3 times, maybe even 4, because like I said, I just really wanted to be able to see those dots. So what am I doing here? Apparently I have decided to go back in and add more water. And then blot the edge. So yeah, there must have been something on there I didn't like. And I'm scooping it in, and I'm sure I'm going to add more because that, even looking at it now, the bottom doesn't look dark enough. So yeah, so when they sent me the color combination, I was like, orange, cool. I love me some blues and navy and craft. Craft? Really? Like, don't they know that Craft and I are not friends? Like, we don't hang out with the same people. I don't. Craft's like one of the cool kids, and I'm sitting, you know, at the dorks table. Me and Craft just aren't friends. It's just not a color that I prefer. It's not a color that I usually use well. Somehow, through divine intervention or something, Jesus decided to work some sort of miracle, and this card actually came out as something that I liked. So here's the piece. After it's all dried, I did not heat dry it. I let it dry naturally. And I'm going to stamp the solid anchor using some fresh peach Hero Arts ink. This is the first time I used the stamp, and these inks are gorgeous. They dry and smooth out beautifully, but I had never stamped this stamp before, so I did end up stamping it twice just to get a good impression that I was happy with. And yeah, so these inks are awesome. If you've never tried them, you got to get them. Most of my ink collection is Hero Arts or W+9, which is the same formula, because they just dry out and smooth, and they look completely solid, and it's amazing. So I'm using the matching die for this anchor, and I'm just gonna tag it down with some washi tape. I am so guilty. I'm a cheap chicken. I leave like 3 or 4 strips of washi tape sitting on the side of my desk, and I use them until A, they fall apart, or B, I accidentally cut through them. Sometimes that happens. I don't know how. Here is the sending die is from Simon Says Stamps, Wishes and Sending and Wishes. We're sending wishes. That's what we're doing. It's something like that. And I decided to die cut that in some white for my sentiment. I wanted it to say Sending Sunshine because I thought that would be fitting with the nautical theme I had going on. But the sunshine I want to use already says Sending Sunshine. So here's my cheat. I use regular tape, just, you know, household tape, and I mask off the areas that I don't want to stamp. This works for me 99.9% of the time. So I just put the tape down, and then I'll ink it up, and then I'll remove the tape and stamp it down, and it's like that top portion of the stamp was never even there. I've also done this if I wanted to stamp a usually a sentiment, or any image, I guess, with 2 different colors. I will do that as well, where you mask it and then stamp it. Just make sure you clean it real good in between. Here I'm just cleaning up some edges. I apologize, it's pretty difficult to see, but I had it pulled closer to me since it was such delicate work. I didn't want to brush away too much of that embossing powder. Why did that word escape me? Oh my. So I heat set that. I actually touched it too soon and ended up getting embossing powder. Why do I keep saying heat? Do you know? Do you know the answer to this? Embossing powder on my finger. So I just had to hit it with the heat gun rolls quick, and it'll smooth out again. So it was fine. And so was my finger, in case you were worried. Here I'm just kind of playing around with how I want the layout to be. I still don't think I made a decision at this point, but I knew I wanted to add in some sequins. So I don't have peach colored sequins. I have ordered them. I am patiently waiting for them to come to the mail, which is not patient at all, because like most people, when I order my crafty supplies, I want them to show up like the next day so I can start playing with them. But you can color your own. So that's what I did. I used clear sequins from Pretty Pink Posh, and I just colored them with Copics. I used R35, which is peach, and no, R32, which is peach, and R35, which is coral. And that worked for me. Just don't pick them up right away because it's not a absorbent surface, so it stays wet for a little while. I filled in some of the areas that didn't heat emboss quite so perfect with my white gel pen. And now I'm adding the anchor with some dimensional adhesive. It's just Scotch foam tape. This ended up coming around to bite me in my hiney. And the reason why is because after I had adhered that down, it dawned on me, hello, that I wanted to put the sending on top of it. And the sending is a super intricate die. But I couldn't just add it on there and let it be all bajiggity on the left-hand side where it was just like flapping around there all hangy. So that means I had to cut these little teeny tiny slivers to put behind my sending so everything would be level. Oh my goodness. I mean, it was a labor of love for sure. I was thrilled with the way the card came out, so I'm glad that I did it. But at the time, I was like, I was saying not nice things. So here, trying to figure out where I want that little sunshine banner to go. I finally think I settle on the middle at some point. And since it's going to sit on top of that anchor that's already popped up, I had to put foam tape on each side, and then I just put liquid adhesive in the middle to sit where the actual anchor is, because that's already popped up. So I added those on, and then just added on my sequins, just kind of randomly. In fact, I don't even think I messed around with it. I think I just put them on there, and the way that I put them on there the first time is the way that they went. So, yeah, it's a pretty fun color combination, and I hope that you guys will go over and play along with the Color Throwdown. Thank you for visiting me, and I hope that you all have a wonderful day. See you later.